Welcome to Lunchtime. I am so excited to be right here at the lunch table with each of you. It's always a lot of fun here at the lunch table because it gives us a chance to sit back and talk about subjects that are special to the home cook because that's what we do right here at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. It's all about the home cook because the home cook is a special person in your household. The kitchen is the place where there is just so much change that can take place there. We love on our family. We actually love on ourselves. And if you love cooking, then it's your happy place. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad to have all of you here. So, let's get started. We're going to do a couple of things, and I welcome all of you. So, as you come in, you're going to find that this is always a busy place. We are in the process of getting ready for spring, which officially spring is just around the corner. But you know what? I'm going to kind of kick back for a minute because today I am recouping from springing forward. I don't know how many of you had the pleasure of springing forward yesterday. And in fact, it was so much so that I was springing so much forward that it was difficult getting up. Oh my goodness, it was hard being able to get out of the bed and get ready. We went to church, we had all those kind of things going on. But you know what? It is a blessed time. And Becky, we're so glad to have you, and Sue, and Rebecca, and Michelle. Wonderful, wonderful to have you right here. Now, those of us who happen to be on the East Coast, we have probably had that clock to switch. Some who are farther west may not have had the change with daylight savings time, or that may be your consistent time. And so, if that's the case, then maybe you didn't have that little flip flop yesterday. But I tell you what, I am still reeling from springing forward because it's just something about that time change that we're never able to quite catch up. And I always find myself feeling like I'm rushed, feeling like I'm running because I'm an hour behind. And so I am just enjoying today. Today is just take that deep breath and get ready to go. So it is tough. I see you, Nitty T. I know that you had to deal with that as well. Hello, hello, hello. We are glad to be right here at the lunch table. Now, today we're going to talk a little bit. I know many of you were here with me on Saturday at the Saturday in the Kitchen Live, and you know that we started our sauerkraut in a jar. Yep, that's sauerkraut that is in the process of fermenting. And I just want to talk a little bit about some of the changes that I've seen. Now, some of the changes that if you attempt to do this, you know that fermented food is so good for your body. And so many of us, and I can think back when I had a younger palate that oh, I didn't want any fermented food, and that I thought it just had a weird taste or unusual taste. And that was mainly because our palate just wasn't ready for it. But now that I have a more mature palate, I'm able to recognize the fact that not only can these foods be good as far as taste and all of the different things that you can add fermented food to, that it is so beneficial. And so those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. But I know a couple of you said that you were considering trying making your own um, your own fermented cabbage. And I'm going to be making a Reuben sandwich with this later in the week. So I'll do that for you. And we'll have a chance to work on that together. Now, good morning and good afternoon, depending upon where you are in the world. Your time may certainly be a little bit different, but we're just so glad to have you right here with us. So we're going to get into a few things. First of all, I have a little stack over here to the side of things that I want to draw in. So let's get started. First of all, I had the pleasure, I was looking for something special for my spring tablescape. And I went into an Asian store. And if you ever have a chance to go into an Asian grocery store, you will find all kinds of things that will intrigue you. And if you're a dish person like I am, I'm always looking for something that's a little bit different. So I wanted something that would reflect my idea for spring. And certainly, I'll kind of flip you over for just a moment. For those of you who are on StreamYard, I can add to the stream. You'll see that I've been into a hydrangea thing. I am into the lavenders, the purples, the pinks, the blues, all of that hue. And when I walked over I love these little bowls because they're just the right size when you're trying to cut back. And this is a nice size little bowl, and it holds about, I'd say, about a cup to a cup and a half of whatever it is that you're deciding that you're going to eat. And so, but the fun thing is that it's just so pretty. Is that not beautiful? So let me get you back where you can see this a little more carefully. But it is absolutely beautiful. And really, the colors don't show up as well as they should because this little bowl has the blues, it has various shades of blue, it has lavender and little purples that are all within the design. And I was able to get a set of four. I'm starting with four, and I'm considering going back and picking up four more so I would have eight. But you know what? Sometimes it's things as simple as this that will inspire you to do something. And in this case, it inspired me to do something in the kitchen. So once I saw these bowls, oh my goodness, the mind started revving. So then I thought, let me think about my table. And I found this is one of the designs. This came in a set. This was one of the designs, very pretty. And just look at how when you put that bowl and the towel together, and this particular towel is at that size where you can either use it, I can use it as a napkin, I can use it as a regular kitchen towel. I wouldn't want to do that because I wouldn't want to get it dirty. But just look at how pretty that is. Now, there's another design that goes along with this. Let me show you that one. And this is the second pattern. Which way do I want to turn it? Okay, the second pattern. Well, actually, this one I'm going to open up because I want you to see the orchids. I'm going to cover myself up for just a moment, but you can see these beautiful orchids. Now I'm going to take this and fold it a little bit like that. Look down there, you can see the bowl. There's a bowl on it. I thought, oh, perfect. We got a little cup there, as well as I'm going to turn it over so you can see the container that the florals are in on this tile. And you'll be able to see the blues as well. Yeah, aren't they beautiful? And then pull our little bowl up, and you can just see how all of that blends together. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? Nice and beautiful. So I had so much fun playing around with this. And the nice thing was that these little bowls weren't expensive. I was able to get some chopsticks along with it because this week I'm hoping to do some ramen. And I thought, okay, I can use these. I can fix either ramen or a quick pho. And everybody who knows about pho. And so these little bowls are going to get put to good use. But aren't they pretty? So now let me show you what I did with it once I decided that that was what I wanted to do. There's a portion of my coffee bar that I put in, and I'm sorry that some of you can't see that, but I'll post that later. And I wanted you to see the florals that are there. I was able to add in the purple and the blue hydrangeas and throw in a few little tulips because it's that time of the year. And for some of us, the tulips are starting to peek out. And even I was talking to a friend of mine who's down in South Carolina, and she was saying that her tulips are actually out. Now they haven't opened yet, but they're ready. They're ready to go. So, we have quite a variety of florals and flowers, and it's just so much fun at this time of the year. Now, I yesterday, as I was, it rained like cats and dogs yesterday. And in fact, we were supposed to get rain today. And thankfully, I think most of it has passed us by. But I try not to complain about rain because I know for so many people, um, our farmers need the rain. We need the rain now so that we can have the advantage of being able to put our plants together, start to grow our gardens, and do all of those kind of things. So we want to be able to get that going. So I am just really thrilled with the fact that spring is coming, and it's so evident. My rose bushes, their little leaves are nice and green, and the buds are even forming. And I had a couple of little buds of azaleas that had peeked out. And so, as you start to get there, to get into that spring feeling, and those of you who are south, you about 2 3 ahead of where I am because it's still a little chilly here. But our Bradford pears are gorgeous, and it was just beautiful going out and being in the car and riding through in spite of the rain. It was just nice to be able to get out there and to see what God is doing for us as far as the seasons are concerned. Now, I know a couple of you who are on today are Southern California, and Southern California is probably at that point where they've been into the growing season maybe for a month or two ahead of us. A portion of California, oh my goodness, you all have been going through a lot of unusual weather. And but I can say certainly after being in California that the rain was needed. Maybe not as intense as what you got it, but the rain was needed. And, we all need rain. We all need rain. We all need water. But we pray for those who are being affected by the mudslides and all of the craziness that's gone on. And so we want to keep them in our prayers as we go. Now, um, I'm looking at Tamaral from the Duncan Party of Six, and she was saying that they just returned from Florida for a quick vacation. And she said it was freezing when she got back to Cola, South Carolina. And our weather has been so crazy. And we've got Emma, who's in the UK. And she said the clocks in the UK, they don't go forward until the 26th of March. So she's still got a little bit of time. So Emma, I'm just going to say rest up, because that spring forward is going to take you to a whole new level. And so we're enjoying that. We're certainly enjoying that. All right. So back to the fermented foods. You know, um, Sauerkraut is one of those fermented foods, as I had said earlier, that we just have to get used to, and in making sauerkraut, and it's fun to be able to make your own. And we started this on Saturday. So for those of you who got to see Saturday in the Kitchen on YouTube, then you know that we put this together. And my plan was to put a rubber band around it. And I know some of you giggled because you had been out looking for rubber bands like I had. I couldn't find a rubber band. And so I ended up just taking the ring of the mason jar and just putting it around my paper towel that I have here. And the real benefit of the paper towel is that it allows the gases to escape as they need to. There's a weight inside to press. You can see it up there at the top. That weight is there to be able to press down on the cabbage. I don't want to drop it, but it presses down on the cabbage and allows it to continue to compress. And within anywhere from 3 to 10 days, it depends on how intense you like your sauerkraut to be. You can certainly do this. And it's a good vegetable. It is something that you can add to sandwiches, to salad. It can just be on the side of your plate. Say if you're having some ribs or some pork, it goes well with pork. Actually, sauerkraut can go with just about anything. And the fun thing is that sometimes if you really like it, then you can just put it in a little dish and have a little bit of sauerkraut. So it was so easy to do. It was so easy to do. So I have decided that there will always be some sauerkraut here in the kitchen. Now, so let's talk a little bit about the health benefits of fermented food. And there are just so many health benefits to fermented foods, and that I think about it, and I know that it's good for us, and we have certainly been on a quest to make sure that we were trying to bring healthy foods into our diet. And it just seems like when you start to think of spring, that healthy foods are one of those things that come to mind. And so we've been into the salad, the big salad. And for those who saw the short, you saw me put the big salad together. And I have something for you. Once we finish talking about our fermented foods, I'm going to show you that I'm going to be delving into some new, more creative big salads as we go. So stay right there for that. Now, digestion. Digestion is necessary. Good digestion, good gut health. And our guts can either make us or break us. And I say that in all honesty, and it starts here with me. I think of myself, as we talked about the fact that when we were younger, that we weren't quite as conscious about our gut health. And some of that was because that some of the research wasn't out there, or available, as easily available as it is now. But gut health is real. And it is something that we want, each of us should strive for good gut health. And so, as the home cook, I feel responsible for trying to make sure that those who are under my roof, that I'm providing those things that will improve their gut health. So what that means is that, first of all, when you are adding fermented foods, and here's some ideas of some fermented foods that you may not even think about. Yogurt, yogurt. Love yogurt. And yogurt is not difficult to make. You can make it right there in your kitchen and have fresh yogurt, but it is a fermented food. Um, if you go into the Asian restaurant, you will see that they're going to add little things, ginger. They're going to they're very into fermented foods. And so you'll want to add those things. Now, what fermentation does is that it helps to break down the nutrients in the foods that we eat. And it makes it easier for us to be able to digest what we're taking in. Let's face it, most of us um, try to eat well, but we're not perfect. There's nothing perfect about us. So, because of that, occasionally we're going to eat something that we probably love but shouldn't have. I know I'm guilty. I am guilty. And so, we want to make sure that our gut health is good because we want our bodies to be able to process what we're taking in. Now, so we want probiotic rich foods, probiotic rich foods. So when you're selecting, if you're purchasing yogurt, you want to make sure that you're purchasing the best yogurt that you can afford. And you want to look for live cultures on your container, because those live cultures are going to be those enzymes that are going to go into your body and will help to improve your gut health. Now, what goes in must come out. And I know that sounds funny, and I won't take it any farther than that, but you know what I mean. And so we want to make sure that every day that cycle is taking place. And, for people who are having health issues, as far as there are a lot of people who have trouble digesting food. And so for those people, they really need to kick up the amount of probiotic foods that they're including in their diet. Now, um, Michelle is saying that fermented foods are so good for gut health, but people with migraines have to be careful. she said that the fermented food can cause issues for those of us with migraines and like kombucha. She said she can't handle that, but she can handle a little bit of sauerkraut. So once you know what your conditions are, Michelle, can you handle yogurt? And some things are a little easier to take in and to process. And I hadn't thought about migraines. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't think that fermented foods would cause migraines, but for some people it does. And so we have to know our bodies and then know what we can take or know how much. And we've also talked about the fact that we want to do things in moderation. So this sounds like this may be one of those situations where moderation is important, where if you're not quite sure about um, adding an excessive amount, which I don't suggest an excessive amount of fermented food, then try a little bit. See what your body's response is. Now I can tell you for some people, if they take a little too much of a fermented food or too many different kinds of fermented food, then they find that their st- their stomachs may start to rumble and get a little upset, and they may find that the exiting of those foods that you have eaten may be a little bit different, and so are maybe more frequent. So if you're finding that that's the case, then you know what to do. Cut back a little bit. Cut back. Now, for some of us, and this is what I like, is that, for instance, if I'm going to eat sauerkraut today, then I probably won't have any yogurt that particular day. Because if I have both of them in the same day, I know that there's going to be a little bit of an issue later on. And if you get my drift. And so I select something each day, which keeps my body processing regularly. And let's face it, as much as I like sauerkraut, I don't like it well enough that I want to eat it every day. And but now yogurt I like. And so we can add yogurt into our salad dressings, into our just to eat it straight. We can have it as dessert, a healthy dessert. So those are things that we might be able to do. Now, I had asked Michelle about the yogurt and whether or not she could take yogurt and not have as many problems with her with migraines. And she said, yes, yogurt is fine. And she said for her, moderation is key. She does know that someone who drank a bottle of kombucha and they had a terrible migraine. And she said she had no idea it could cause such issues. And I didn't either. So, one thing to keep in mind too, and this is something that I typically suggest, is the fact that we want to, as we find that there are conditions that we have in our body, I suggest that you do a little research. Do a little research. That means it doesn't mean that you have to sit at a computer trying to read. That they're going to stop at the pharmacy or even stop at the doctor when he says that we have some type of situation, and start to probe, ask questions. You know, is there something I can eat that may trigger a reaction with this condition? You know, uh, ask your pharmacist if the doctor is giving you some type of medication. Ask the pharmacist, are there any foods that when I eat them, that I may have a reaction? So that's something that we need to do. We need to make sure that we're taking that into consideration. So keep that in mind. So migraines, we know, cut back a little bit on the fermentation because it can. And we're not even sure that it triggers everyone with migraines because people with migraines have different triggers. And so you have to kind of figure out what your particular trigger is. And so we have to be able, you're right, Marlene, we have to be able to advocate for ourselves. And, um, advocating for yourself is something we should be doing anyway. We should be doing it all the time. And it's something we need to start when you're going into the doctor. Now, if you're just going into I don't want to belittle it, but if you're going into the doctor just for a cold, a runny nose, something like that, then you might not do this. But when I know I'm going into the doctor for a checkup, a full health checkup, and that's something we all need to do at least once a year, I take a notebook because I have a little book that I jot down questions all along, whatever seems to be um, bothering me, or I may have a question about, or if I had, in this case, a reaction to something, and I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on. Take your notebook, or in this case, take your phone because you can keep all your notes there. And if your doctor's not willing to let you, to answer your questions, my suggestion is find a new doctor because you know what? I I'm gonna stop for a second. I got a doctor bill the other day that just about knocked me out of my chair. And I thought, at first I was a little bit upset, but I have to say for the doctor that I have, any question I have, she will sit there and answer that question. And I'm at that age where things are changing and they're changing quickly. And so because of that, as we mature, as we become more and more seasoned, we find that the things that change in our body are, sometimes some of the changes are good, and that's always wonderful. But some of the changes are things that if we don't address at that time, the time span of coming back to the doctor, whatever that issue was, can certainly go from a little bitty issue to something that's major. And we want to be able to catch whatever that issue may be before it gets out of hand. So I'm saying have a doctor that you can really have a good conversation with. And I have been blessed in in the fact that I'm able to uh, have a doctor. And I tell you, and it took three of them. I had to go through three before I got to this one. And this particular doctor is very understanding. She's a little young thing, but let me tell you, girlfriend knows a whole lot of stuff. And while she is in a family practice, she is also a surgeon, and she has chosen to stay in family practice. Number one, because she likes people and she likes being able to sit down with people and have conversations. And you know what? And I love her for that because I can take my phone or my notebook in. I can ask those questions that I need. And if we're there for 30, 40 minutes talking about health and how I can better whatever is going on in my system, then that's the doctor I need. And I had this conversation with the big guy because the doctor he had kind of rushed him out of the room and didn't want him to ask any questions. And I looked at him and said, "Well, you need to find a new doctor." And so, but men are not sometimes not as quick to search for somebody new. They get comfortable with a particular person and that's where they stay. But I'm saying to you as women and as men that we need to stay on top of our health. And certainly when anything pertaining to the gut, if we can keep our gut healthy, our body is going to be that much more healthy because so many diseases start in the gut. And so if we can create an environment, now, if that means, of course, we can buy enzymes and take the enzymes by pills. We can buy certain, I've seen them at our one of our health food stores where it's in a liquid form. Your enzymes are in a liquid form in a dark bottle, and you can take so much a day. And that certainly does help your gut health. But because we're home cooks and we're right here in the kitchen, then we want to be able to have things in our kitchen and serve things in our kitchen that not only will we benefit, but everyone who comes through our kitchen is going to benefit. And remember, Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme is all about the work that we do right here in the kitchen as the home cook and providing around the table, which is, of course, today we're at the table and it's lunchtime. But, at dinner time, and we're bringing our families together, that's the time to nurture and to nourish and to encourage our families. That's what we want to do. So we're going to do that. Now, so let's think about, I want to make sure I've got everything I had here. How many of you take some type of a vitamin? Some type of vitamin. Tell me if you're a vitamin person. I am. I do a daily vitamin every day. And what particular vitamin do you have? I used to take, and probably all of us did at some time or another, were you a one a day girl or guy? And one a day person. And only to find that one a days are great. I'm not knocking them. And when we're young and we have young bodies, then one a day is probably great. But as I became more seasoned, I found I needed more. I needed more. One a day just wasn't doing it for me. And I also found that, as you have blood work done, and this is something I can tell you that as a young chick that I didn't always do. I didn't do a physical every year. I only went to the doctor when I absolutely had to. Otherwise, I stayed as far out of the doctor's office as I possibly could. And so, and probably a lot of us did exactly that. We ran from the doctor. We didn't want to have to go in there. And so, the funny thing is that when you get your blood work, and this is something that maybe some of us don't do, in that I want to see all the nitty gritties of what the blood work is telling me. I want to know what my body is missing. I want to know if I have an overabundance of something. And I tell you what I found out was that so many of us are missing vitamin D3. And vitamin D3 is a vital vitamin for all of us. And D3 is important. And so it's found, research is out there, and they're still researching. So I'm just going to say they are still doing some research with this. But it is becoming evident that those of us who are low in D3, that we have a tendency toward more disease. And so we have to be careful. Uh, we need D3. We need our fish oils and our olive oils. Um, there are just so many things that we need. Bee pollen was something I needed. And so we will start to find out all of those things that you need. Then you start to look for that vitamin that is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. And let's face it, I had to rethink because I was being a little cheap. I'm just gonna put it out there. I was being a little cheap. I didn't want to pay $65 for a bottle of vitamins. And then I thought about it. $65 for a new pair of shoes or $65 for a vitamin that's going to allow me to have a better health life. I had to stop and think, because as we age, and all of us are aging, you might be 25, but every day as you click by, you're aging. We want to age well. Okay, y'all get ready for it. Brace yourself. I want to look almost as good at the age that I am today as I did when I was 25. I would love for my body to hum as well today as it did when I was 25. And I know that sounds funny, and that's the truth. I have to giggle about that myself. But the reality of it is that I'm working. I'm working toward that. And all of us have some type of deficit in our bodies. It's either because of your diet, what you eat, or in some cases, what you don't eat. And some type is the balance of how you eat it, or how much of certain things that you eat. Let's face it, do we have to have meat every day? No. Do we have to have kale or collards or some of the dark green vegetables every day? No. But do we need them every now and then? Probably so, some type of vegetable. And vegetables have been found to be good for you. Now, there are people, let me say, that there are people who are unable to digest certain dark leafy greens. They just can't digest it. And so for them, they have to find alternatives. So we have to be able to figure out what it is that we need, that our bodies need, what it is that our family members need. If you know your children aren't getting enough fiber, then you're going to have to find a way to sneak that fiber in. Or if you know that you need fruit, say fruits. Now, typically kiddos are good about eating fruits, but maybe me not so much. So I put my fruits in a shake and blend it, drink it, good to go. Got the fruits that I was supposed to have. If I'm falling, I'm not exactly getting all the green vegetables that I should have, whether I'm vacationing or whatever it is that I'm doing, then I'm going to blend it and get it down. Now, I love, 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 love being able to take a really good vitamin, and a vitamin that I know is going to supply most of what I need. And when I know that the majority of the needs have been met, then I can work on getting those other little things into the diet. And that goes back to where we were looking at our plate and trying to keep it as colorful as possible. So that, because if we keep it colorful, we're going to pretty much hit a lot of the vitamins and the nutrients that we need. And huh, I'm reading here. One of our subscribers, Tutu Loves Minnie, says that her Medicare insurance provides her with a $50 a month credit to use for over-the-counter items like vitamins and medications. And she said, fortunately, this covers the cost of all of her vitamins and supplements. How about that? And you know what? Um, I learned that I like Source of Life. That's the name of my vitamin, Source of Life. And Source of Life, if I purchase it at Walgreens and catch it on sale, sometimes I get two bottles for the price of one if they have a 2-for-1 that's running. And that's a Nature's Way product. And so hey, hey, we want to be able to have those vitamins, save ourselves. And if you're lucky enough to get the insurance to cover it, woohoo! Because unfortunately, a lot of your insurances don't cover your vitamins unless you have some type of special rider that may be on your health insurance that says that you can put a certain amount of money away and then you can spend it on particulars um, in the pharmacy or where you need it. And so some people do have that type of setup. Now, I never thought about the fact that as we take in, I didn't know that fermented foods helped us to process things like nuts, beans. So many of us, when we eat nuts and beans, our bodies go crazy. I know there are certain nuts I can eat and I don't have a response to. But there are some nuts that I eat, like peanuts. When I eat peanuts, I am in distress. And the thing is that I love them. And sometimes the things that we crave and that we love are those things that we should stay as far away from as possible. So just kind of check that out. Start to see, what is it. Sometimes, like I said, I love peanuts. Now I can eat peanut butter, and it doesn't have the same response. But when I eat peanuts, then the stomach is in distress. But the good thing about having fermented foods, things like yogurt, the sauerkraut, or whichever that you choose, or kombucha, um, which is very easy to drink. For me, it's not, I don't like the taste of it, but when I'm really trying to get things back into balance, then I'll drink it. We do what we have to do. But as you're thinking about that, we want to keep our bodies as balanced as we can possibly get them. And remember, we were talking about things in and things out. Well, as things go out, hint, 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 you can see whether or not your body is processing food well. And you can tell whether or not you're in a good balanced place within your gut because it's going to tell as it exits. Now, so keep this in mind. Some people, now we've talked about the problem with migraines, but some people have problems with mental health. And it's because of the fact that their bodies are out of balance as far as their inner health is concerned. And there are studies that are showing that certain probiotics, once that person starts to, whether it's yogurt, whether it's kombucha, whether it's whatever it may be, whatever it is, once good bacteria is in the body, their anxiety levels lessen. Depression will lessen. Some people eat certain things and their reaction is not maybe an outward physical reaction that we would see, where they break out with a rash or their stomachs start to growl and, they're not happy, but they get depressed or they get anxious. And we don't think about those things as being a gut issue, but very often that's exactly where it starts. Now, some people have found that there is a connection between probiotics and your weight. And as they add more probiotics, things in, things out. Now, probiotics help to keep that system moving. And when your system, along with drinking plenty of water, keeps that system moving, you will find that your weight will start to balance. So we're talking about finding our balance. We want to be able to do that. Now, there's also, and this is a biggie, there is a lower risk of heart disease in those people that have good gut health. Good gut health. So you want to make sure that you're striving each day as the home cook to be able to, that's why we have a salad daily. Salad with sometimes we'll add something on to that salad, whether it's some type of vinegar, a vinegar-based dressing that's going to help to bring along those fermented responses in the gut and will also help to keep things moving through the system because that's what we need. You never want to back up. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to back up. And we want to make sure that our systems are responding perfectly. So let's try to do that through our fermented foods. So fermented foods, we know, can have positive health benefits when we use moderation. And, if you add a little bit at a time, if you find that some people can have yogurt every day and it's not an issue. Some people can only have yogurt once a week. And it just depends upon where your body is. So you have to try, and doctors are practicing. It's a practice. And we're practicing because we're searching for our own balance. I'd rather not ever have to step into a doctor's office. I'd like to be able to find my nutritional balance right here in my kitchen. And as I find balance here, then I'm able to disperse that within my family and to them. So that's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm aiming for. Guys, this has been fun. Now, so like I said, it's quick, it's easy, and check out Saturday in the Kitchen, because that's what we were doing, putting together our sauerkraut that we're going to be using for a Reuben sandwich. And it's just a little plop of Reuben, a little plop of sauerkraut that goes on the Reuben sandwich. And the sandwich is delicious. And we can have all that goodness, but we're adding a little bit of healthy healthiness, fermentation into the body that is going to make your body sing. More water, moderation, add what's missing, and we're able to get all of that and to improve our overall health. Now, I want to say, we were talking about those salads. I told you I would save it to tell you about it. I found this book and it's called Summer Salads. And I apologize for those of you who may be looking at it and it may show up backwards, but this is called Summer Salads. And you see how colorful it is? Well, that's how colorful you want your salad bowl to look. Very, very colorful. Summer salads. Now, is summer the only time that we want to eat salads? Of course not. But you want to be creative. And this is my art place when I start to put a salad together, because the more vegetables you can add the fruit, you can add the vegetables, you can add your protein on your salad. And it's a meal, it's a filling meal. But you want most of what you're filling your body with to be all of the wonderful things that are going to add benefit to your body. So I'm looking here. Marlene says that she tells the ladies that an apple a day does keep the doctor away. Free flow. Yes, it does. It works. I'm telling you, it does work. And you are absolutely right. Sue's saying that magnesium was something that was recommended to her to relieve her leg cramps. So, there are fruits and vegetables that are high in magnesium that you can make sure you eat in moderation, that will also alleviate having the problems with leg cramps along the way. And, so, uh, but vitamin D, I'm telling you, they're finding that vitamin D is crucial. And as they're doing more work with cancer, they're looking at what is it that those people who have cancer, what vitamins, nutrients were they missing? They already know that excess sugar just allows that cancer to grow. It feeds cancer. So as we're thinking about our diets and what we put on the table for our family, we're going to look more into our summer salads and making sure that our summer salads do the work for us. And it is such a creative place, because you can certainly add, I know strawberries have been big lately, and I bought some avocados, and you just play around with everything. Bought some great delicious, even and then you go back thinking, oh, these were so good, and you go back and you get some more and it's like, they're terrible. So they were actually consistently good, and they were at two different stores. How about that? So this was a good season. So we also looked at those fruits and vegetables that are in season. these, I think it was last week at lunchtime, and think about adding those particular fruits and vegetables into your salad fresh, as many as you can that are fresh. And if you have to cook it, roast it. Don't boil them, roast them. And it's going to give you a little bit of bite. It's going to, you season them up the way you want them, and then put them in the roasting pan with a little EVOO. And oh my goodness, you've got a wonderful vitamin. We love, this is asparagus season we're coming into. Asparagus is going to be so good, and it is so good for you. And so those are some of the things that, as we're thinking about, sorry guys, as we're thinking about our diets and our meal plans, we want to add as much of that into our diet as we possibly can. Now, we have been on for quite a while, and I certainly had a great time. And so I want to say to you, before you leave, make sure that you like the video, please, and make sure that if you're not a follower, that you subscribe and become a part of the family, so that we can stay in touch. And at this lunchtime, it's every Monday, 12:30. We are right here at the lunch table. I've got my lunch, I've got my drink, and I'm trying some new tea that I'll be sharing with you after I get past this first bag. I'll decide on whether or not it's really good. I think it's going to be. And whether or not it might be a summer fave. So we're going to have fun. I hope this has helped you, because I don't know about you, but I'm on my quest for trying to find those things that I can nourish not only my body, but the body of my families with, right here in the kitchen. So there's a lot of work that goes on in the kitchen, and we provide a lot of food for our family. So we want to make sure that those things that we're providing for our family, we want to make sure that they're healthy and they are as balanced. Thank you so much, Tamara. We want to make sure that we are balancing our meals and our meal plans. And certainly take a look, if you haven't had a chance, at the March 1 plan for 1 month, and make it work for you, and add to it, and extend that master list so that you will have a plan that you can pull from. Now, guys, I love having you here. I'd stay with you and we chit chat at this lunch table all day, but I know you don't have that kind of time. And so I hope you will certainly enjoy the rest of the day. And I pray that your week is blessed, because there's a lot to be done. And let me say to each of you, take some time this week and do something special for someone you don't even know. Do something special. It may be as simple as a smile. Sometimes, if it's a little one, it could be a pat on the head. They may just need that pat on the head today, to know that there's somebody who thought about them today. So please take the time to do that. So God bless each of you. Have a wonderful week. And I'll be back right here at the lunch table next Monday. So, mwah, mwah, mwah. See you soon, and just enjoy your day. Guys, we've got something going on here, and we're trying to end the broadcast. Oh, there we go.